they're based on a consumer model. Like, do you get a good deal at your spiritual hall? I mean, when I travel and I see these enormous shopping centers for religion, they're the spiritual parallel of the mall. I mean, they're very impressive. I was in Louisiana, and the only buildings you saw in the suburbs of Louisiana were these huge churches, and they had social services, they had daycare, they had sports fields and places. They were sort of a town, you know, of all the social services. So what happens to someone who grows up in that kind of environment? You grow up with the kind of values that say your church is really important, because in that environment it is. It's where you get your fun. It's where you get your athletic opportunity. It's where you get your singing and musical opportunity. It's where you get your kids get babysat on Sunday. It's enormously important, and it's a place you drive to, and people drive from all over. Well, in the ward I represent, which there's some David and others are in it. If you take it's an old-fashioned word. In Ottawa East, I think we counted there were 7 different faith groups: Portuguese, Lithuanian. I think I made a note of them here. French, Spanish, Romanian, Anglican, lots of Catholics, Baptist, Église Unie, United Church, Lutheran. This is in just a little community, Ottawa East. It's about 4,000 people. And they're in little churches scattered throughout and a lot of them share churches. Either you have the Spanish and French in one church and so forth. This is an environment where separation of church and state is not questioned. You know, it's accepted. And it's come out of that, and the houses, the houses of spiritual activity are basically just that. They don't have the room or the place, and they depend upon the city to deliver the social services and the connecting services and so forth and so on. So there's a very lively interest in my ward in making sure that your local government is a caring, compassionate, inclusive place. Whereas I notice out in the environments we've built for the car, it's the vision of the city playing that role, or government playing that role, is not there. It's not like that. It's like the city should deliver us consumer items like police, like fire, roads, of course, sewer and water, and it should do it like Walmart. It should deliver those services absolutely as cheaply as possible, and that's the main pressure we have to get. All the connecting fine tissue stuff that's important to keep a city connected is of no interest. And I can say this with absolute confidence because I live it every day on council. You can just see the way the inner city councillors vote entirely differently from the outer city councillors, because they live in different environments. And because they live in different environments, their values are different. They have very different values. I'm not saying one is good or one is bad. I'm just saying don't fool yourself that your values are somehow out here all alone. Your values are very much connected to how you live and what you do. And I see the values that come out of, the family values that come out of that car-centric environment are all personal values. They're values for my family and my church, and if we all behave the way that properly, then we'd have a good society. Well, I don't see it that way because I didn't grow up in that kind of environment. I grew up in an environment where how you connected beyond your particular religious group or particular way you worked was important. And I kind of, for me it's like love. Like I walk down the street and I want to see rich people and poor people and colored people and not colored people and every religion you can think of. That to me makes life worth living. It's fundamental to who I am and how I want to be. So I think with that said, I'm going to finish with a little piece of reading, as every ministry has to finish with a little reading from the good word, and the good word is right here. And this is from a chapter called Care of the Soul, Care of the City, Care for the Planet, and it's about why I do what I do. For me, the doorstep of my soul doesn't end at my fingertips. For me, the human soul is not a singular Benedictine flight to heaven, nor is the poetry of existence a solitary affair, but connected like a string of DNA to the community, to the city, to the country, and to the planet. And when those connections are broken or damaged, my own soul is diminished and the poetry of existence is reduced for all. For me, the mundane struggles against school closures, for better public transit, for wider, safer sidewalks, are all part of something grander. It is part of the struggle for my own soul and the poetry of existence that can be found sitting on my uncle's Cape Breton stoop, watching the sun sink behind Shedikan Island. It can equally be found in the ordinary battles of a citizen for a better city and a safer planet. This is what makes life grand and wonderful. Sunsets, friends, and purpose, informed not by the accumulation of material things, but by moments of pure poetry, anchored in a life directed towards creating richer possibilities for all. It is what gives life meaning, because for me the divine is rooted in the integrity of creation, and all those who struggle for that state of mind and state of place which connect us to this ultimate mystery of creation and existence.